Hello guys and welcome to What the Click episode number 52. My name is Adam Lobo.
And I'm Vernon. Great to be back.
And today's topic we're going to be talking about devices. So for those of you who miss us talking about devices a little more, especially for the ones where we are going to give a bit more further context, because sometimes whenever we review devices, there's certain things that we feel like it was not mentioned yet and we can actually kind of talk about it a bit more further, in a risk of not making our video reviews very long. Other than that, we are also going to be talking about some other brand new devices which has been released as well, and also some which is very much rumored too. We will be talking about the HUAWEI Pura X Max, a very interesting world's first wide format foldable. And could this be potentially how the iPhone Ultra foldable going to be looking like? So we'll be talking about that. And of course, from a gaming standpoint, there is a very interesting news about how there's an eGPU support on Mac.
Whether that's disappointing for gamers, we shall find out later.
That's a very good point. Let's first start off from the Nothing Phone 4a Pro. I've been using this for a month. I will give my impressions of this and my usage. If time permits, we will be releasing this video. If you guys watch this on a Saturday, it will be the next day. So hopefully we have enough time to release this on the following day. First things first, I have been using this phone for a month. And I think among all of the Nothing Phone phones, I felt like, although this is not a flagship, but it does look like one.
Yeah.
It feels like one. It uses like one.
And it's the first time with a metal body, right?
Yeah, so we will talk about that too. But my first impressions is that this does not look like a mid-range phone.
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong. And let us know what you guys think in the comment section below, because I feel like Nothing might have shot themselves in the foot here, because they release a phone which looks so premium and it comes with a price of 2,299 ringgit. Now, this is after the recent increase of the RAM and storage.
Yes.
The original predicted price was 100 ringgit cheaper. That is, of course, if you just convert. But of course, when it comes to Malaysia, it's going to be different. But just so you all know that usually Nothing phones always are cheaper in Malaysia compared to other countries.
Okay.
That's always been the case ever since the Nothing Phone 1 as well. You're right, full metal body. And it comes with a 6.83-inch display, 144 Hz AMOLED display.
Yep.
Looks very beautiful.
Looks good.
One of the best things about Nothing phones is that, in case you all did not know, that they have actually used a flexible OLED compared to a lot of mid-range phones out there to unify the bezels. That is something where a lot of mid-range phones doesn't care. So that is a high cost on Nothing side, according to Calpay, and that's what is available over here. It comes with a Snapdragon 7 Gen 4, not the S version, so which means that CPU and GPU is definitely so much better. Nothing OS, which makes the phone feel like you are using a flagship phone because of the flagship Nothing Phone 3. The difference between this and the non-Pro is that the main sensor on this is using a Sony sensor. But whether or not you would see the difference so much when it comes to real world use, to be completely honest, no. But there was something that I've been using exclusively on this particular phone compared to any other phones, which I'll get into in a very short moment. Battery-wise, is 5,080 milliamps of battery in Malaysia, which is following the global standards compared to our friends in India, which is so much more in terms of the charging and, of course, the battery capacity specifically. Let's first start off on the fact that how it looks, right? Don't you feel that this may not necessarily look like a Nothing phone?
I absolutely agree. I mean, Nothing phone has always been known to be edgy and has a very transparent back with all the textures and, and the underside of a phone, right? The innards. This is very understated in that sense. It's more understated than any other Nothing phone that you've seen. It gives it a pro look.
It does.
Maybe it's part of Nothing strategy, because they're not releasing any flagships, right?
Yeah.
So technically, this becomes the flagship for Nothing in 2026, and I think it well deserves that accolade.
Yeah.
in terms of at least build and aesthetics wise.
Yeah.
It looks so good. I mean, I cannot tell that it's a mid-range phone.
What's interesting is that they did not unveil the design only until the launch in London.
Yeah.
So while we were going into the launch, we had a sneak preview on how the 4A looked like. And I love the pink, hence why I chose the
And
pink to
4
review.
is still like a plastic mid-ranger.
And
right?
it still looked like a nothing phone.
Yeah.
But when they did the unveiling of this design in London during the launch, when I was there, I was like, wow, this really looks like something, although it's nothing.
It does. I mean, it's super unique to me, and honestly, the design has really grown on me. And maybe it's just this retro looking
Yeah.
module on the top.
Exactly.
Just makes it look so good.
I
don't
mean,
know.
people may argue about how that the design has really swayed away so much from nothing, but because I haven't been a big fan of the glyph lights anyway, so to me, I did not mind this, and I totally agree with you. It is a kind of design where I can finally say that if this is going to be the Nothing Phone 4A, for example, going to have a similar style of aesthetics, this should be the way, right? This is the way.
But then I think some quarters are saying that is nothing losing its identity by being a little more understated and premium.
I have
What do you think?
I have a very good answer to that. I predicted from day one that they're not going to stick with the glyph lights. I knew it was some sort of a novelty gimmick.
Right.
And you can already see them going away from the glyph lights. The Nothing Phone 4A was the glyph bar,
Yeah.
which is a bunch of, like a LED
Series
bar.
of lights, yeah.
And then for the 3, they went with the glyph matrix, right? So it's more like a circular thing over here.
Yeah.
For you, since you know the phone since the first one, do you like the glyph lights, do you like the glyph bar, or do you like the glyph matrix?
To me,
If you had to choose, yeah.
I would say the Matrix.
Okay.
Because there's a little bit more function to it.
Yeah.
The glyph bar doesn't do much for me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what exactly it does that much. But at least the glyph bar you can customize, and
Yeah.
you can have different, mini applications that you can, enable on that display.
I mean, going back into the design,
You can take selfies too.
some people have said that the phone felt heavy. For me, I don't think so. And I like this camera plateau, and yes, now everybody's calling it a camera plateau ever since the iPhone 17 series was launched.
Everybody has a plateau
It's
now.
also nice because you can kind of rest your finger at the back of the phone like this. So using it one-handed was really, really good. There was this huge argument, which I also kind of made, about how it's a 2,299 ringgit phone, but compared to the iPhone 17e and the Pixel 10a, those two phones still have wireless charging. So what are your thoughts about this phone not having wireless charging?
I mean, for the price point, maybe it's not as big a feature for the audience.
Yeah.
And that's why they've kind of left it out. And also you need a glass backing, I believe, if you need magnetic charging from the back, which is a compromise for the full metal body.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that you can always slap on a case, I guess.
Speaking of metal body, something very worth mentioning is that usually metal bodies, like metal watches, your GPS or your signals for antenna has been actually very bad.
Yeah.
But you can literally
That's why
see
you
the
get a
antenna
bars.
lines. You can see like there's like 2 at the side, 2 on the other side, and 2 on top. I never had any issue with any call drops because I usually put my SIM card inside here, and it has been really great. So
What about heat?
I hit.
with
So
the metal
you
body.
asked me this question when I was in London, which I couldn't test out.
You couldn't test out.
I couldn't test out because it was super cold there. It was like 18, 17 degrees during the day, and at night it was like single digits. The good news is that we did test out Genshin Impact, no issues at all. And just using it daily, recording videos, taking lots of photos, it has no issue at all.
That's good to know.
So to me, it's a very good question, but no issues when it comes to the overall heating, overheating and stuff. It has definitely really maintained the overall comfort of the phone, that it doesn't heat up.
Right.
Knowing the fact that especially it has a full metal build, right? So people may think that, if it's going to heat up, means it's going to be even worse because it's a full metal build.
So back to the wireless charging issue.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I am on the fence about this.
Yeah. is it a deal breaker if you were to buy a
For me
mid-range
personally, is a deal breaker because
Okay.
I use wireless charging more than wired charging. I like the idea of just charging a phone wirelessly.
not a dock, yeah.
But probably the question that I need to ask myself and the question that you need to ask yourself is that, do you really want wireless charging or do you want MagSafe? Right?
That's a very good question. But then in the Android space,
I call
there's no-
wireless charging MagSafe because I'm an iPhone user, right?
that's true.
As one of my daily drivers other than an Android phone.
Yeah, and for the record, Android phones had wireless charging first before the iPhone.
Very good point. And just recently, the Pixel 10a, the reason why I
the
kind of
MagSafe.
like the phone, also has MagSafe. So the question that we, including me, need to ask ourselves is that do we actually miss do we miss wireless or do we need the MagSafe more?
For me, it's MagSafe.
I also think so.
So yeah, like I said, just slap on a case. And
Yeah.
and get
For
MagSafe
for
on.
the phone's price, 2299, that is going up just above 2,000 ringgit. Funnily enough, as a team, we have discussed that we are going to be doing a video of best phones under 2,000 ringgit. This one does not go in that category,
Just
but
a little bit.
probably
Get a special
definitely
mention maybe.
Yeah, the Nothing Phone 4A. That could be it because I really love that phone as well. Probably you might not know this, so maybe I can talk I'm going to mention about the intelligent toolkit. One thing which is interesting about Nothing phones, especially the Pro and the recent 4A as well, is the fact that they have created AI. And I want to know your thoughts about this because Kalpe's vision for AI is not to be forcing on you, is for you to make it be more usable as opposed to just shoving AI into your face. Number
Like
one.
Microsoft shoving Copilot in your Windows
Exactly.
desktop.
Yeah. That's where half the money is going. Number one. Number two, Kalpe's vision, the reason why he has the glyph bar and all the glyph toys and all, is for people to use the phone less. Now, people like me, so like yesterday I had a makan session with my school friends. It was so lovely seeing them. And one of the things that my friend Hafiz pointed out to me is that, do you know that during our whole entire hangout session yesterday, we were hanging out from 7 o'clock until about 9:30 because I had to go back, I have a son. And he pointed out this to
Didn't
me.
touch
He
your
said, I
phones.
didn't touch my phone at all. He said, as a tech guy, you now touch your phone. Because I already know, it's a little rude to use your phone.
Yeah.
At the same time, whether or not I have the glyph bar or not, the glyph matrix or the glyph bar or whatever, I am definitely not going to use my phone as much. But I guess there is an audience for this. And this is something which is very interesting. And what Nothing has done in the Nothing OS is they have lumped up all the intelligent toolkit where you have all the AIs within there, which is actually very nice. They also have the essential key. This essential key, honestly, is something where I wish that you could try it because I'm a self-proclaimed screenshot slut. Anything I can find, I'll just screenshot it, fella. So now the good news is that not only you have a shortcut for the essential key to screenshot, but just say you come across something. So this is something whereby I really appreciate it. So you know how we get this media invites,
Yeah.
or if you see like a concert happening and all, when you use the essential key, it takes the screenshot, and then if you go on the notification, it will appear and ask you whether or not you want to add the details in text. So it'll give you the venue, it'll give you the date, and then immediately you'll go into
Nice. So
your
it
Google
extracts the
Calendar.
information from your
Now
screenshot.
that is AI that we can use.
that's
So
nice.
to me, I like Kalpe and also Nothing's vision over here because it's true. Why do we have certain AI which does not make daily sense or
Yeah.
people use daily? I give a very clear example, something which I just thought right now. As much as I love how Vivo is doing with their, making the season change to snowy and all, it's cool.
cool,
But you
but
need
it's
to
not-
ask yourself, how
not
often are you going to be
really
using this?
useful, yeah.
At the same time, it's more of a party trick, not like a daily usage kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that is actually something very good. I also want to talk about.
So this AI thing, it's proprietary to Nothing? It's
Yes,
not-
it is.
Okay.
It is. So they do have an integration with ChatGPT, but that is on a separate app. They even have dedicated ChatGPT widgets, which is quite interesting. I do not know what sort of deal that OpenAI and Nothing did, but it's nice because I think even though with the emergence of Claude or even how improved Gemini is, I think people immediately think of ChatGPT and AI to be synonymous. It's quite interesting because even earlier, Mo and I, we created a noun. So instead of asking, like instead of using the term, okay, let's image generate this thing, we said, let's just nano it. So it's like, let's just nano it or nano banana it or let's banana it. Yeah. So it's funny how this AI is becoming like a household name.
Yeah. It's like Google it.
Exactly. So now AI is becoming, so for me it's like, I start saying that I'm going to Higgsfield the fella. Like, I'm going to use Higgsfield. Because although Higgsfield is not an AI, it's actually like a hub for all of the AIs in there. But because of how famous these platforms and these softwares are, it eventually became a noun. So let us know what you have idea on a similar noun like that. Another very interesting thing which I mentioned in the review is that there is a downloadable Sony Plus or
Fuji.
Specifically Fuji LUT. And the images coming out of here. So Muaz Malik, who is a fellow tech YouTuber.
Sony LUT, it's a slut?
That's a very good point. Last time me and Mo used to call LUT slut. Technically, it's not a Sony LUT. Okay, it's actually the Sony sensor using the Fuji LUT, right? Yeah. Now, what's interesting is that when I started taking photos,
why specifically Fuji LUT?
There's this moody look. I'm not usually the fan of moody look, but I've been seeing, I would just mention his name, Muaz Malik, he's a tech YouTuber, Malay guy. Love the dude, like a brother to me. I think like my relationship with him is as close like how I'm close to you kind of thing. And he has a Fuji camera. Yeah. And he takes these cool photos and he always posts up on Instagram. And I see the photos, there's something about that Fuji look. Yeah. That street look, the film simulation. But at the same time, the moody kind of look. And then when Nothing told us, specifically Jason, he was like, hey bro, do you know that you can install a Fuji LUT into our cameras? I was like, what? Okay, let me try it. Now here's the thing. For those of you who install, you manage to find the QR, you can find it anywhere online. When you install the Fuji LUT, try to reduce the saturation to -50 because it really brings up the rate like nobody's business. Although I'm a hardcore Liverpool fan, but we're all
how
black
do you
together.
install a Fuji LUT?
Good question.
To the camera.
You will get like a QR code.
Okay.
You use the camera app and then you scan the QR code. Then after that, it will ask you to install it. So what happens is that after when you install it into the camera app, there's an arrow here. Then you have the LUTs.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, is there something kind of new to
exactly?
The
So you have different the
Fujifilm
look. You have the cold retro, future, urban, scene amber.
That's good.
And I like how the templates look like. It doesn't look like just one square box. Yeah. Like it gives you like, oh, this is the kind of shots that you use. So it made me using the phone a little more extra special, and that's why like I took a lot of very, very interesting photos when I was in London, where you can check out the full photos in our in-depth review tomorrow if you guys are watching this on the Saturday.
Nice.
So for me,
overall experience, what's your kind of like a favorite thing about
I think
Nothing Phone A?
What I am not so happy about is that probably, like I said, the MagSafe idea. If there is MagSafe or even wireless charging, again, we need to figure that part out. I wish that we got 5,400 meters of battery. Like
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, because our Indian friends have that.
Why?
Because of the amount of screen on time that you could get. But at this point in time, 5,080.
Why is there a discrepancy?
Because we usually follow, very good question, in case you all are wondering, we usually get the EU versions of any phone.
So why does EU get?
So EU does not allow phones. Yeah, because they set that you cannot get certain amount of battery beyond certain measures.
Why?
Then if you're going to bring it here, it's the fact.
EU
it's
an
EU standard.
EU.
Yes, exactly. Well, they gave us USB-C on an iPhone, so I have to thank them for that. But yeah, that is the case. 5,400 would be nice to have the extra.
So it's not about pricing. It's not
No,
about,
it's not. It's an EU thing. Yeah.
it's not even a tech limitation. It's a
Absolutely not. Because if it's a tech limitation, means why is it available in India and not in Malaysia and globally? So yeah, unfortunately,
but
we
then
always get the global.
why Malaysia has nothing to do with EU. So why are we getting a lesser?
Because
product?
of the similarity of, I noticed this from every other smartphones as well. Whenever there's an EU variant, that is most likely the smartphone variant that we are getting in Malaysia. It has always been.
Is
not
it
even
also
nothing.
because India manufactures some of the nothing phones for domestic market? Is that part of the regulation
I'm not sure.
for India?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
That could be it.
We
Who knows?
should find out.
Yeah, we should definitely go and find out. Yeah. Screen on time, based on my script, I think I got close to 6-7 hours, which is still decent for 5,000 milliamps of battery phone. But I think the extra 320 milliamps would have definitely gotten a bit more. But it definitely lasted more than definitely more than 1 day lah, on the Nothing Phone 4A Pro. So yeah, that's the phone. In conclusion, really love it. And
So this versus a 4A.
I would still go with a Pro because of how it looks. The 4A is good, but again, I'm not a big fan of that fully transparent, plasticky design looking. This one immediately, unless if there was no this, then I would still prefer the 4A.
Okay.
But because this
But
is
also
now
there's
an
a price
option,
difference, obviously, like
Yeah.
what, 300 ringgit?
but I would pay the 300 ringgit extra to get this because of how premium and cool it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put it aside because Leo is going to shoot. So you can
Very nice. Looks
to
good.
just
Honestly,
message.
it really
Yeah,
looks
it looks nice. Okay, the next device we're going to be talking about is the Nothing Headphones A. This one I want you to talk about it. 2 reasons. Number one, because I'm glad. I was very happy when I was seeing the video going up. I said, hey, Vernon is part of the B-roll, so thank you. So handsome.
Embarrassing.
No, so handsome. I love it. Could you please be in more of our B-rolls because you look very good. Number two, because you're an audiophile, you enjoy audio as much as I do. I think in the team, you are similarly like me in terms of really appreciating very good audio products. So run us through the Nothing Headphones A,
Sure.
your experience with it, your first impressions, how it felt, and then I'll give my so-called review, because by the time you guys are watching this, the review of this is already out yesterday. Yeah, so yeah. Give us the verdict on this, Vernon.
So disclaimer, I only had maybe 15 minutes with this headphones. I was quite impressed with the audio quality, and I was also impressed with the build quality. It is plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap, or it doesn't feel less premium than it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
The design is very unique, as with the little, what do you call that? Eggs.
Yeah,
The
eggshell.
Egg
Yeah,
yolk kind
egg
of
yolk,
look, especially when
eggshell.
it's in yellow.
Yeah.
Very unique. It has a very brawn look to it. So it's very brawn inspired.
Yes, brawn is the word.
Retro aesthetics. There's a little red dot here as well.
Although there's no reason
function
for
to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I really like is that it's not about touch controls, and there's no.
Absolutely right.
I like that it's tactile.
Yeah.
So you get a flip switch here where you can toggle between your tracks and stuff.
Yep.
Muffs are actually quite plush.
It is. Yeah, it's
I
memory
felt
foam.
Very, very comfortable with the memory foam on this. The band is pretty solid and comfortable. It didn't feel very tight on the head, which is good, especially if you're listening to music for long hours. I like it very much. What's also good is that it's indicated clearly left and right. Some headphones don't do it, but it's nice. Overall, I think audio quality, it's on the warm side, which is okay. If you like thumping bass, there is quite a bit of bass with it. In general, separation of frequencies are quite nice. You wouldn't expect it from a 699 piece of hardware, and I was actually quite impressed. The build and all, look at that. It's so good. There's no squeaks.
Yeah.
I would have liked it if it had a staggered kind of
Like that.
band, but this one doesn't. But yeah, I guess that's maybe one compromise, and it was done on purpose. But overall, yeah, pretty good. I like it.
I'm glad to hear that.
And it's also going to be very unique. If you put this on and you are like
Yeah.
a cafe or you're on an MRT, people are going to notice it and say,
Yeah.
what do you have that on your head?
Yeah,
Which is good.
correct.
Yeah, it's nice.
For me, my first impressions, I was like, okay, cool, another headphones from nothing. And of course, it's not their very first headphones. This is their second one.
And you've always said that nothing should be an audio company because they
Exactly.
do really good
And
audio products.
Kalpe, if you're ever watching our videos, since you like to watch videos and react to it, I still think that you should be an audio company because you produce the best audio products ever, whether or not it's on an Android space or even an iPhone or iOS space, because this works very well. The device switching and all has been really, really good. The only part where I felt it was a bit delay is that while I could go from my phone to the Mac very quickly, but from the Mac to the phone, it was a bit slow. But understandable. I think a software update could fix that. Let's start off from the build quality, because when we saw the pictures online, I thought, okay, it's cool. The design is nice. Do I prefer this over the flagship? Yes, because I like the
Oh, really?
solid color.
Wow.
Yeah, I like the solid
That's
color. And also, do I prefer the design of the other colors? Not a fan. That's why I eventually wanted this.
Because you're a white fan.
Yeah, that's
why.
true. But at the same time, the way that the pink, for example, it was just there. So it's like it wasn't a thought out design thing, in my humble opinion.
It's very stuck.
Yeah,
It's just like this blob of color.
Yeah, exactly. So unless you're telling me like, okay, here's pink, and then maybe like this one is a little like your MacBook Neo kind of blush pink like that, then at least it has a little more character. But
get
you're
what you
just
mean.
telling me that you are changing color and you're just changing this part here. Probably because of price. But my point is that if you're gonna have like many color difference, at least have a little more character to it. Not a big deal.
And it's not customizable. If it was,
Yeah.
it would be interesting.
Yeah, so like, you know how you have the magnetic ear cups from the AirPods Max, for example, where you can just take it out, or the Sonos. That's how I customize my one, because I like the white, but at the same time I don't want it to dirty, so I bought the ones and I put it here and it was done. What was interesting is, of course, first and foremost, the price, 699 ringgit for a very good headphones like this. It looks cheap, but it does not feel cheap, like what Abang Vernon has said.
doesn't feel cheap.
The
I don't
headbands
think
adjustment,
it looks cheap either.
I agree with Abang as well, because you don't have the trick, so you do not know when to stop, right? And how do you know whether it's one-sided or not? So like, for example, if you have that sound, you go like 1, 2,
Yep.
then you know that this one you go 1, 2, right? But now you don't know, you're looking like, oh, are you going to measure your thumb to know whether it's correct? So that part, I do not know what Nothing was thinking, and I did not say that in my review. That's why this podcast is very important, because you kind of like, oh yeah, why didn't I talk about this, right? So that's one.
I'm sure they know about it, but they did nothing.
That's a good point. So many pumps, so many puns.
Sorry.
There's a more. It's like,
I'm sorry, I just had to do it.
Of course.
But version 2, maybe.
I usually do not wear headphones when I work out, but I purposely did it in the gym. There's footage of me running on a treadmill with this. Every time when people run on a treadmill with an AirPods Max, I give them that look. And it's like, bro, what are you doing, man?
I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
especially working out,
It's
right?
just too
But I did it on here
distracting.
because it's not heavy. At the same time, I wanted to know whether or not it was distracting. Now, another thing which I wanted to find out, but I didn't do it in Malaysia, but I did it when I was in Yunnan, was that I want to know whether or not I was sweating in the ears. I was not, because again, it was a cold place. But probably when I came to Malaysia, I didn't bother because I was busy trying to get the shots done. Another very important factor is that the memory foams are so nice. I have also did not mention this in my review. I wore this with specs on, no problem. It doesn't squeeze. I also wore this with earrings. Also no issues at all.
Does it come with extra mouse in the box?
No, it does not. So in the box, it comes with a USB-C to C cable. It comes with a 3.5mm headphones jack, which is good because, you know, in case your battery dies, you can immediately go through that. There's no high-res audio support, of course, through wired connection. That's because of the price. When it comes to the biggest selling factor and the biggest thing that nothing could actually flex, which we'll talk about later, but would be the battery. 135 hours, freaking madness. But it's true though. I mean, I never felt like I needed to charge it, and it felt like I got so much more than 6 days. So to me, that itself is actually quite massive. Audio quality, it is one of the headphones which sounds good both on rock, metal and EDM at the same time. What's interesting is that out of the box, nothing has got the EQ to increase more bass +2 out of the box instead of keeping it
There's
flat.
definitely a lot of bass.
Yeah,
with
the
it.
reason why, because I think they wanted to cater to the new people who doesn't know how to adjust EQ. They didn't want it to be flat.
They got no IQ for EQ.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's a good choice because not everybody is going to play around with EQ.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not talking about the parametric EQ. I'm talking about the regular EQ. So not a lot of people are going to go there.
Jazz,
Yeah, they're not going to do
whatever,
it. Most of
acoustic.
them are just going to listen to this out of the box. So the team behind Nothing designing this and coming up with that idea of putting +2 was a very smart
But
move.
I mean, I guess they know their target audience anyway. So.
Yeah. And of course, with the customized parametric EQ and all, that for me was a definite yes in terms of the overall audio quality. Now, as much as I'm an audiophile guy, I don't really play a lot with parametric EQ. I still go with the standard ones because I change music genre depending on my mood, and I change it very frequently. Especially now with the son, I do occasionally introduce him to rock music, but most of the time it's Bruno Mars because Bruno Mars is very high upbeat and he gets excited with Bruno
Okay.
Mars, so that's actually
He likes
kind of
Bruno
good.
Mars, nice.
Yeah, he likes Bruno. Bruno is awesome, so it's fine. So my point is that the reason why I don't use that in-depth parametric EQ is simply because of the fact that I change audio, I change the music genre very often. And compared to before, I could always blast music in the car. Now I cannot because of my son. So
Do you think in the future AI will help us adjust dynamically based on
the
kind
type of
genre?
music? Wow, that's so smart. I never thought about that. That's a
I
good
think
point, though.
it's possible, right?
So rather than you always going there and adjust.
Especially when your phone knows so much about you.
Yeah.
And what kind of music that you listen to.
Well, the AirPods have done similarly when it comes to noise cancellation by really understanding your ears. So they have that I forgot what exactly is it called, but there's like a customized ANC, right? Whereby like they will do a series of tests of the earbuds in your ears, and then they can kind of understand what's the right amount of ANC
And also
to put
based on
into
your
the
environment and where you go.
exactly. So I guess that AI, yes, but no AI yet specifically on the type of music genre,
I'm
which I
surprised.
totally agree.
I'm a little bit surprised, but yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure it could be in the
we talked
future,
about ANC. So very briefly, the ANC is okay, not as good as the Sonys and the Bose and the AirPods of the world.
Those are the best. So
Exactly.
There's no way. you
But for
can-
someone who's not used to ANC, is the first time being introduced by ANC, or don't mind like a massive crazy ANC, this is good enough. At the same time, some people are a bit more sensitive when it comes to active noise cancellation, especially if there's not enough pressure to release, like how the AirPods Pro, for example, has that. This one does not have it. But speaking of things that does not have, first and foremost, this does not fold flat. So that could be a biggest no for a lot of people, because when I brought this on the flight, I had to bring it like that.
Is there a case for it?
They
or
got a
there's no case?
drawstring bag.
Okay.
Again, it's $699. It's fine. So I put in a drawstring bag and I had
It
to
doesn't
carry
come
like
with
this.
a bra though. So it's
No, it's no bra here. It is braless.
braless.
Just like how we like it. And then another thing is that there's no the automatic pause and play when you remove it, because there's no sensors inside. Again, 699 ringgit, it's totally
That's
fine.
what I noticed. When I was
Yeah,
just
so yeah, when you saw, you were in the B-roll thing as well. There's also physical controls, which is 1,000,000 times better than any touch controls.
Thank you so much. Nothing.
Yeah,
I like
so while the Sonys of the world try to do that, the thing is bloody annoying.
I hate those.
They try to be cool, but to me, that's not cool, man. Because the amount of accidental touches happen until today. We didn't get our hands on the XM6.
I'm all for tactile, whether it's on headphones or in the car.
It feels so good, and also the
Especially in the
jog.
car.
The idea of the pedal being a jog wheel is so nice, and it works not only on music apps like Apple Music and YouTube Music. I didn't mention Spotify because Spotify sucks, but it also works on Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube videos.
No, I didn't test that.
Yeah, so it's actually quite interesting, this whole pedal thing. So that is when it comes to the headphones. I think one thing which we also want to mention is the fact that there is this thing called channel hop. So essential channel hop means is that if you are always hopping between different audio sources of different apps. So for example, I'm on a treadmill. Usually on a treadmill, I watch YouTube, right? And then after I'm done with my treadmill, I want to go and do my weight training. Of course, weight training, I can't be watching YouTube, right? I can listen to YouTube. But when I click this button over here, which is a channel hop, it allows me to hop between my apps. So I don't have to take out my phone, open up Apple Music, and put pause on my YouTube channel video. So to me, that is good. I just hope that the channel hop has more things, like for example, doing device switching. Because as much as they try to do it auto, it'd be nice that you can do it on the spot. Like, okay, I'm going to use my Mac now. Pop, it goes to the Mac. Rather than me waiting for, like I said, for 5 seconds or so. So that would be for that. So I think that is my conclusion on the Nothing Phones A. What are your overall thoughts about it?
Very good for 699. Definitely punches above his weight class.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So those are the two devices that we are having the hands-on about. If you guys are watching this once again on a Saturday, the review is already out the day before, which is on Friday. And the Nothing Phone 4A Pro, which is not here now because Lihood is shooting it halfway, that is coming out tomorrow if you guys are watching this on Saturday. Let's go into the best news of the week so far. It has started off with a lot of gaming ones, and let's talk about the first one first and foremost, which is the NVIDIA eGPU support on the Mac. Give us a lowdown on that, Aman.
This would have been great news for gamers, but unfortunately it's nothing to do with gamers. As you know, for the longest time, the Mac and especially Apple Silicon has not supported eGPU. Meaning you cannot plug in via Thunderbolt or USB 4 an external GPU to provide better graphics for, let's say, your MacBook Pro or your Mac Mini or your Mac Ultra even. However, in a very surprising move, Apple has officially worked with a third party, a tiny company which produces tiny GPU driver, which enables Macs with Apple Silicon to plug in an eGPU, and it's fully supported. It will support NVIDIA or AMD cards. However, again, I have to warn gamers, it's not for gaming. It is only enabled for AI training and AI LLMs. So if you want to run LLMs faster and quicker and more efficient with more capacity, then plugging the eGPU is definitely for you. As you know, you may have maybe an old Mac.
Yeah.
And because your GPU is outdated, obviously a MacBook doesn't have a GPU. It's unless it's an older Intel Mac, it might have a Intel graphics. And you don't have to throw away that Mac. Okay, you can get an eGPU and plug it in and actually run LLMs and do AI tasks. It's also good for if you're running a workstation and you're running a Mac-based workstation, you can also plug in an eGPU and do better AI computing for that. As you know, the M Silicon is all about Sources is a unified memory architecture where the CPU shares RAM with the GPU. So if you have a 16 gigabyte MacBook, for instance, that's all you're stuck with for the rest of your life. You're not able to buy a new GPU and stuff like that. But now with the tiny GPU driver, you can. So it's great news for that. So why is Apple doing this? And the interesting thing about this is the timing of it. timing of it is that number one, they discontinued the Mac Pro. Obviously the Mac Pros would support GPUs and external GPUs. Unfortunately, the Mac Pro is no more. So why is Apple suddenly out of the blue supporting tiny GPU and enabling eGPUs for Mac? What do you think?
I have no idea, but I have a question back to you, because for the longest time, a Mac could not really support NVIDIA, right? So people who have done Hackintosh, not me,
could only use AMD.
You only could use AMD, right? So it's interesting how they suddenly can, and it's interesting how it supports. But how many people are going to be doing local AI LLMs? Maybe not a lot of people. I think that it would be better if you could game on it. Then that would make a very compelling reason on how you can get it. So probably imagine like you get a full specs MacBook Air on the RAM, and then after you get eGPU, you have like, then you can play games on it.
I mean, exactly. That's what we used to do for the older Macs, right? You can, of course, we were limited by AMD cards, which were not. Well, we didn't get the RTX, for old Macs, but at least there was an option to plug in an eGPU.
But who is this for? I mean,
I think for people who run AI applications, whether you're working for someone or is
there a
based
huge
on a
market on people doing local AI?
I think
okay.
The trend is moving towards everything AI, and you know that even all the companies are investing in AI. Manufacturers are pivoting into AI, and which is why memory prices are shooting up like crazy, and stuff like that. So I think it kind of makes sense for Apple to make this move.
Yeah.
But yeah, the question is, will gaming come next? I hope so.
I just want to say I hope so. But again, we are living in times whereby SSDs, RAMs, GPUs
even
are
GPUs
bloody
are
expensive, right? You noted down here, and I almost forgot how bloody expensive the RTX 5090 is. 18,999 ringgit. Can buy a Myvi, bro.
Yeah, latest prices. I mean, imagine plugging into a 2,000 ringgit Mac Mini.
Speaking of which, this price hike is real. In case you guys didn't know, I only now I was looking on Amazon, and I wanted to buy a Thunderbolt 5 enclosure, because a lot of Macs and all.
I'm looking for
when
one too.
When I go and see the 2 terabyte SSD NVMe, 2,800 ringgit, bro. Last time it was just 1,500 ringgit. You're talking about an increase of 1,000 ringgit.
Yeah, it's double the price.
Holy mother of God! I'm like, I should have just bought it last 2 months ago or something. Maybe
we can look for a slightly older stock.
Oh no, I think we can do a more and just go to the shop. And then just go and pick it up. So you don't buy shit online anymore.
Funnily enough, yesterday I was just looking, I was in Popular Bookstore, and there's this section of computer stuff. I was looking at storage. I was like, hey, it's not bad. They were having some sales with
because
$100
it's the
off.
older one,
it's
probably
slightly older.
instead of me getting a 990 Pro Samsung Evo, maybe I'll get like a 970 or 980.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Then maybe it's
good enough.
Maybe it's so much cheaper, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that would be something very much interesting. So we want to know your thoughts. Whether or not do you feel like, is this the beginning or the beginning of people start gaming on a Mac in an external GPU sense? Or do you feel like, Apple's going to say no, and tiny GPU is going to say, what, it's okay, y'all just use this for AI? Because if you think about it, this just came to my head. Remember how many companies are shutting down because they are concentrating on their manpower and AI specifically? So this could be one of the biggest pivot, which is also currently happening.
But I mean, it's a little bit funny because also the timing of it, that GPU prices are so high, and it's still going up, right?
Yeah.
And then they're promoting this. They're getting you to buy eGPUs.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a strange thing.
So it's like you know how the petrol price is going up, and then suddenly you have ads.
They want you to buy cars.
Yes, specifically petrol cars. Yeah.
So isn't that a bit weird? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Okay, moving on from gaming, we are going to be talking about a device. Now, this device is very significant, a very interesting thing.
We were right all along.
And yes, we were right, but I didn't know about this until you wrote it in our website, which is good because I'm like, oh wow. When you shared the links in our group, I was like, oh my God, it's here. We are talking about the HUAWEI Pura X Max. I like the name though. X Max, yo.
It's quite a mouthful.
It is, if you're not used to it.
I think it's appropriate for a device that is so pretty groundbreaking, I think. It's coming on April 20th, by the way, officially.
Yep.
Huawei has already, leaked themselves.
April 20th is literally 20th is literally 3 days from now. So if you're watching this on just tomorrow, it's like 2 days. I can't wait. I really can't wait because
it's the world's first wide format
so
foldable.
We saw the leaks and the rumors coming from Samsung, but as usual, Huawei is always the first. Come up with a foldable laptop, come up with all of this cool stuff. Now this would most probably be the time, especially with this particular form factor, for us to finally use a foldable over a slab phone.
Yeah,
because
you know what the
makes more
problem with the book type of form factor is that it's too tall.
Yeah, so
and when you fold it, it's not even square. So that's what Samsung has always been doing.
Yeah,
and I always had the opinion that it should be wider. So which is why I kind of pivoted into more Google Pixel Fold format. Microsoft Courier, if you remember, a long time back. So this 4x3, when it's open, opens like a tablet. I feel it's the right ratio.
Got it.
So being
the 4x3 aspect ratio is just perfect because like what you note here, it actually feels like an iPad mini. And
exactly,
you know me, I love
iPad mini sideways, you know.
Yeah, iPad mini, Huawei came out with their own tablet, which is a mini. So
which looks good.
We will talk about it next week probably.
We'll talk about it next week. It's going to come out soon.
The thinness though, 4.6 mm, this is the leaked one when it's unfolded, which is thinner than most charging cables, which is freaking crazy.
How did they do 4.6 when you still have a USB-C port?
I know they will do this custom USB-C, but remember like what Samsung did with their latest foldable to make it customized, but it's thinner than the usual USB.
It's thinner than they stripped out everything, right?
But Huawei is Huawei, so you know how they can do it.
Yeah, it's insane though, 4.6 mm.
Is my way or the Huawei? Kirin 930 Pro, how does this happen? How did Huawei finally push a 5G ready chipset?
Yeah, so
3nm or 5nm. Holy mother of God, are you serious?
Yeah, so I think this is big news.
It is.
Is Kirin back?
Yeah.
Kirin back with a 3 nanometer. Obviously, Apple's moving to 2 nanometers, but 3 nanometer is already in that.
Because before this Kirin was like 20 nanometers.
Yeah, Kirin was
because they couldn't manufacture the chips, right? So how did this happen? Why no one's talking about this?
I have no idea. But
I welcome it. I love it which means that Huawei is going to come back and whoop a lot of butts out there. Yeah. But as a tech guy or tech news guy, we want to know how is this possible because that was the biggest. Because that was the maybe. Yeah, I don't talk politics, but it's okay. Let's not talk about politics. But maybe there is understanding which we do not know now, but. Maybe when you get official news, then we will say it. Again, I don't want to talk about politics. But it's interesting. I like this. I like the fact that not only the foldable is cool, I like to see that Kirin has the 930 Pro or a brand new Kirin chipset with 5G ready. Because every single time when I review a Huawei phone, one fella will comment there and said, yeah, good luck, you got no 5G. But who knows? Now, with the Kirin 930, you have 5G ready. So no excuses.
Yeah, but is it a global launch?
No, definitely not.
If it's not a global launch, it's possible. Because if it's only for China, maybe that's the catch. Maybe that's
another
the catch.
thing which a lot
5G,
of global.
3 nanometer, Kiran. And
But I
if
thought-
it's so globally, it's probably different.
But I
specs.
thought the sanction was that you cannot buy the chips from US. That's why they couldn't produce it. It's not
so
about
they're
they could
producing it
release it.
themselves.
Wow.
They're producing it themselves, Kiran.
So if they are going to be producing themselves with their own chips and all, which means that they should be release it globally. Yeah. Come on, baby. Now, another thing, speaking of global, I really want to mention this because I like how you have noted here. Harmony OS 5.0.
Yes.
Another
Smooth like butter.
common request coming from our audiences is that when is Harmony OS going to replace EMUI? Because currently Huawei smartphones, not the tablets, because the tablet still has Harmony OS, which is great. A lot of people like how Harmony OS
It's
is.
supposed to be the unified OS.
It is
covering
very
all
good
the
because
devices,
Harmony
right?
OS also powers the Ayato cars. Harmony OS is super stable. The Diruchi video which I did, so they have a collab with Huawei, and not only they're using the Huawei smart home technology, but they're also using Harmony OS as the base software. So Harmony OS is very powerful.
For the mattress, the smart mattress and all that.
Exactly. So
Interesting.
Harmony OS is very good. It reminds me of how when Vivo introduced Origin OS over their previous OS, that for me is actually a very good yes, and hopefully
Vivo
that comes
was
as well.
Fun Touch.
Yeah,
was it?
Fun Touch. Apa punya nama? Okay.
Not so fun.
So talk to us about the what's not so good about this factor.
There's always this question when it comes to Huawei devices. Does it have GMS? And in 2026, I think a lack of any native GMS is still a bit of a deal breaker, especially when it comes to me. When you say, "Oh, it's a Huawei device," and I always end up saying, "Don't buy it because of GMS." Although things like Gbox has gotten very much better, it's very much easier to buy and use a Huawei device. You know, there's less friction nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially if you're buying into something so expensive, that's expected to be 9,000 ringgit maybe.
Yeah.
For the
After if
X-Max.
they look at like a conversion.
You
per se.
don't want to have compromises and you don't want to have friction like that to stop you from using a device.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I think the GMS question is still going to be there.
I mean,
They solved the Kirin problem, obviously.
Yeah.
And they solved the 5G problem. Now they really need to solve this GMS problem.
The DMS problem is only a problem outside of China because they
Yes.
don't use Google services
Yes,
anyway in
yes.
China. And the outside problem which they have been solving is through Micro G and Gbox. I am still occasionally daily driving the Pura 80 Ultra. Speaking of which, the 90 is out.
Yeah.
Looks good too.
Yeah.
But it looks the same. What's up, Huawei? I thought you're one of those people who never used to change design. I mean, always change design, but this looks the same. But anyway, right.
They'll talk about AI software next.
But what I'm trying to say is that outside of China, the Google services have always been fine. No issues. Notification, updates, no issues. It has happened on tablets. There was a bug. So like currently my teleprompter, I'm using a Huawei tablet, is using Harmony OS. So sometimes so maybe that's the reason why they're not changing from EMUI to Harmony OS, because the tablet is using Harmony OS, and sometimes there is a crash for Google Docs.
Right.
So when I'm loading, it will just crash for a while. So that happens on a tablet, but not on a phone specifically. So that could be a Harmony OS versus an EMUI. So yeah, hopefully that is settled. But I agree, rather than having all of this using Micro G and Micro Genius, why don't you just have it there? Again, it's beyond China's control, beyond Huawei's control at this point in time.
It's
especially.
anti-competitive, by the
Yeah,
way.
correct.
But anyways, I mean, let's just talk about Huawei being the first out of the gate with this white fold thing.
Yeah.
what do you think Apple is going to do? What do you think Samsung is going to do? What do you think the rest are going to do? The Oppos, the Vivos. Are they going to move into a wide fold form factor?
Yes.
I know Samsung is working on it.
Yeah, because we saw
talked
the
about
leaks.
it a little while ago.
So yes, because we've seen the leaks.
And do you expect the Apple Fold to be
this similar form factor?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. More of a wide form factor. Definitely not like how the current Z Fold series are. There's going to be a totally different form factor. But one thing that we haven't gotten through is that are they using the similar screens as Samsung? Usually Huawei don't. They'll use like BOE or LG. They don't usually use... No, actually, they never even use LG. They've been always using their own proprietary screens, or even BOE or any Chinese manufacturer. So that is something which is interesting, and we definitely need to know about that. But I think, yes, this is one of the first. If not Apple and Samsung, we will see other brands copying, including Honor. You know how they are.
But you know what they're saying about the Apple iPhone Fold, right?
Yeah.
Is that people like Samsung have maybe 15-20% of the market share. But industry analysts say that once Apple debuts iPhone Fold, it's going to be 50% market share.
Yeah, of course.
Do you believe that? Do you?
Yeah. Because in the end of the day, the more Apple sells, the more Samsung makes the money. That's why I did a video about like, although it seems like Apple is leading the smartphone market, but the ones who's actually really winning is Samsung, because in the end of the day, they're like, hey bro, here you go. And remember, they're not only supplying it to Apple, Samsung is also supplying it, like the Oppo Find N, the new Find N series, that's Samsung's display. That's a fact. Oppo has always used a Samsung display, so that's actually quite interesting. Okay, let's go into Who Asked For This. So what do we have for this? Who asked for this?
This is the segment where we look at tech, and often we wonder, even though we can imagine it, should we ever build it?
Yes.
So the next one also, trickles down from CES. Wow, CES like the place to have weird tech.
Love it. Yeah, it's funny how like half of the thing we now talked about.
This thing is called the Lepro AI Soulmate. As if we don't have enough AI in our life. But okay, so a little background. It's a dedicated desktop OLED screen that houses an AI companion. So if you like gaming and stuff on your screen alone, and you like to spend time in front of your screen alone, why not have an AI girlfriend or boyfriend that's sitting beside you and watching your every move and, watching your every step and keeping you company. So that's exactly what this AI companion and Soulmate is supposed to do for you.
Based on the website, it looks very small. So it's like it looks like a water bottle in your size. So it's not like huge. So it's
a little a foot.
What kind of human size is that?
It's not human sized. It's
yeah, but if you're going to have an AI companion not as small as a kitten, what's the point? Okay. So it has
it's supposed to sometimes when you're gaming and you're on Discord and stuff like that,
well,
you might feel lonely. So
it's an 8-inch curved OLED.
It's supposed to be empathetic. It's supposed to be able to converse with you and stuff like that. So, it's just weird.
I just feel like if you want to have a companion, it doesn't make sense unless you're telling me the AI is not a he or a she. If it's a pet, like imagine like a tiny little dragon, for example.
Yeah, but then you have to feed it, right?
Yeah. The guy and the girl is wanting to eat what? Okay, so that is.
I don't know. It's just I feel it's very Black Mirror. This.
Yes, it is.
Having
definitely it is
something as that would invade your space like that, but I guess you gave it permission to invade your space.
Exactly. But yeah, we already have AI on our phones, watches, and laptop. Who actually asked for a dedicated digital person? Did you ask for? Who asked for this, Vernon?
No, I don't need more AI in my life. Not this kind of emotional.
We need
intimacy.
more thoughtful AI, like Nothing Phone's AI, or even Samsung's Photo Assist AI. It makes so much more sense than something like this.
For sure.
But yes, let's go into the community segment. Tuesday, as usual, Vernon will be asking you questions. This week was again based on gaming because there were so many gaming news. Next week onwards, we will definitely be getting a bit more devices, so probably we can ask based on that. And so as usual, at this point in time, we are still having what to click in this particular main channel because Google has not decided to respond to my help asking to get this verification done. So at this point in time, we are still having it on our main channel. We will keep you guys updated from time to time. So the community page especially, we will still be asking on the main channel until we get some good amount of people on the new channel. So the question is that the leaks for Project Canis shows a PS6 handheld, and Project Helix are actually getting very, very wild in terms of the rumors. But with the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 and Apple's A20 Pro going about 2 nm, 3 nm efficiency, mobile gaming is becoming very, 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 very powerful. So if you had the choice, where would you spend your next generation budget? So the choices were Project Canis, which is a native PS6 power on the go. Interesting, because that is the highest vote that we had over here.
Yeah.
The iPhone 18 Pro or Android flagship, because smartphone gaming so much easier and better for a lot of people. We mentioned about Project Helix last week, and yes, so that would be one of the areas that we have. And then we have the Nintendo Switch, because some people just want to play Mario, Supercard, and also Zelda. So we do have a total of 83 votes in total. At this point in time, there was no comments specifically, but let's talk about what do you think about this particular thing? Like, for example, like this whole idea of the handheld, and which one would you actually use over here?
For me, what did I pick? I think Project Canis is interesting.
Yeah.
Because what Sony is doing basically has a 3-device strategy. The Canis is one of the handhelds that's going to be out. Maybe it's like a successor to the PS Vita or PSP, which is nice. We haven't seen it for a while.
Yes. PSP.
They are going the opposite direction of Project Helix, where Microsoft Xbox is doing the PC box hybrid that we talked about in the last week episode. So it's very interesting. Microsoft is consolidating, building just one device that runs Windows. But Sony is doing basically three devices, which is interesting. I think the question here is also because smartphones are becoming just more and more powerful as a gaming device, like the iPhone 18 or even any Android flagship, whether it's a Samsung or not.
Yeah.
They're just so good at gaming.
Yeah.
Right. But personally, I think a dedicated device is nice.
Yeah.
So Project Canis is quite exciting for me, so I picked that. Nintendo Switch, there are Switch fans out there, and they like to see another Switch that come out, in the near future, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So although that gets the least votes this time around, but I guess that's our audience.
Yep.
Yeah.
For me, I would choose the same thing what everybody has voted on, because the potential power that the PS6 is going to have on the go is actually very good. Because while Project Helix is great, it's going to be similar like desk. How it's stuck to your desk, stuck to your TVs, is going to be there, right? And my wife has Nintendo Switch 2, which I thought I would play some, but I'm not playing it at all. So it shows that probably because of the gaming options and knowing the fact that PS or PlayStation in general has always been one of my favorite ways to game on, especially on a console. So my vote will go for that. But I agree though, it also comes down to whether or not you're the kind of person who just prefer something which is a bit more dedicated as opposed to something which is a bit more versatile to use it as a smartphone as well. So that is what we have for the community question. If you guys have want to join us to be part of these community questions, put the comment at our Tuesday sessions that we'll be asking as well, and put your votes, and of course comment your overall thoughts over there as well. Yeah. Okay. That would be the conclusion when it comes to video releases. If you guys are watching this, like I said yesterday, we already released a video of the Nothing Headphones A. After using it for, I mentioned 2 weeks in the video, but actually it's been way much longer than that. And then the Nothing Phone 4A Pro review will be out tomorrow if you guys are watching here as well. So that concludes episode number 52 of What the Click. My name is Adam Lobo.
My name is Vernon. See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.